Hi everyone, it's me again, Giselle. I've come back with another message. Um, on the back of the previous video, the last one I've uploaded before this one, I actually felt inspired to talk about how you can find out if the person that you're thinking is the one for you is actually the one. Because I've had many soul connections in this life, and I feel that for me, the reason why that has happened is because I've chosen this path to help others, to guide them, to coach them, navigate their way through their journeys, through my gifts. And so that's the reason why I feel I've had to encounter every single soul connection you could possibly encounter so that I could recognize and help people who are going through the same thing. I know there are some readers on YouTube who don't have these experiences, who've just met their twin flame and that's just it, that's everything. With me, I've met soulmates, I've met even the false twin, I've met my true twin, I've met karmic connections, everything really. And this video is about how to recognize if the person you have in mind is indeed your twin or any of the other ones. I'll give brief encounters of the type of people, and maybe this will help activate or trigger something within you so that you will recognize maybe what you're going through. Maybe you'll pick up, okay, this is this type of connection. So the first connection is the karmic. This is a person that comes into your life. It may be for a brief period, it may be for extended periods. It varies depending on what you need to learn and your situation. But what you generally go through with this person is a lot of ups and downs, mainly downs, I would say, where you don't vibrate on the same level, you're not in alignment. You go through a lot of friction and a lot of arguing, a lot of disagreeing, but this person shows you a lot of contrast between what you want and what you don't want. This is the person that helps you to figure out the life that you do eventually want. And so meeting them is okay because you get to make your mistakes with them. You need to see them as a blessing in disguise, you know. Some karmic situations end up horrendously bad, but through that experience, it didn't only build me up, it also got me to define and get really clear about what is the ideal relationship that I want in my life. What is the best romantic experience that I can create for myself in this life? So it's a good thing, even though you may perceive it to be quite awful whilst you're going through it. Same for your counterpart if they are in a karmic situation. I always like to use this analogy. It's like they are an artwork that's not yet carved out. So the karmics gets to receive them as a big block of stone. And so they need to carve out kind of the main artwork, because everything is already inside of the stone. It's just, it needs to be carved and chiseled out. So the karmics have the enormous task of carving the bigger blocks off. So they don't get to see the pretty artwork that's truly within. They get to see the big square block of stone with all its baggage, all its problems. And so they're the ones to carve it and take massive chunks off. So how we need to see this is a good thing, you know, because then it means that we get to have the pretty artwork that's truly within. We get to have the beautiful art piece that's been carved and chiseled and polished, ready for us to experience the beauty. So then the second type of connection is the soulmate. And I had a very profound soulmate connection when I was very young. I recognized the instant I saw this person, in their eyes, I could see a familiarity. And the second I looked into their eyes, I was like, hold on a moment. I know you. I don't know how I know you, because obviously we've never met in this life. This is crazy, but I know you. And with the soulmate, there can be a pull, often sexual attraction and perhaps more love and wanting to be happy. But they kind of give you a glimpse of what past lives were, soul connections are, that kind of thing. They teach you a lot of life lessons, and they're often there to get you ready or out of a situation and prepare you for something greater. But more often than not, you're not actually meant to be with this person. I mean, you could have a relationship with them, but not all the time. I know in my instance, we weren't meant to be together, and that's cool. I was against it at the time. I was like so annoyed, like, why the heck would I have this now when I can't be with this person? But it's cool. I now know the reason why we met, and the reason why he came into my life was for me to recognize how truly amazing I am, and that I can actually create the life that I want, and to get me out of the situation I was in. He was the person to keep my strength up, for me to retain my sanity, I guess, throughout the situation I was going through, and for me to then realize I deserve better. I do. And with the soulmate, you always hold this appreciation, this bond of appreciation. I'm no longer in love with them, but I appreciate the time that we went through, and there's no resentment. There's only gratitude and admiration and appreciation for them having been part of my life. It was so funny because they even recognized me, and they did say to me, feel like I've known you in another life. And no one has ever said that to me before. So I was like, ooh, this is intense. That was quite a cool experience, actually. And then, of course, there's the infamous false twin. Not everyone says that they've had this, but I certainly have. And what a crazy story, But what I felt with my false twin, the reason why we met was because I wanted true love, but I didn't love myself enough. And so I projected out this energy of neediness, of not being good enough. And I remember being let down really badly by this false twin, and the way in which I dealt with it was very lacking of self-respect and self-love. They had promised that they would come to see me, or, come to call me for another, to meet up again. And they never did. So they basically just completely ghosted me. Without blocking me, like the access was still there. I could still contact them. They could still receive my message. I would get acknowledged, like a little double tick on WhatsApp to say that they had received and read my message, but they just would never respond. And so I approached that with an attitude of, well, I'm not good enough. And I even said in the message something along the lines of, look, I'm aware that I kind of ruined everything, and, it's all my fault and blah, blah, blah. Please give me another chance. That is not the energy of someone who loves themselves, someone who respects and truly values themselves. And I'm, not proud of that side of me that came out, that I was so clingy and desperate. But in a sense, he's a blessing in disguise again, because through him, I discovered that I don't need to be needy. I don't need to be degrading myself to be loved. I am worthy of love, and if anything, anyone would be lucky enough to have me. And that's the lesson I learned with that. The whole point of this video is kind of recognizing, is it a false twin, is it a true twin? Well, with the false twin, whenever I would think of them and think of our future together and try to manifest our future together, I would feel a pain in my heart. I would feel a lacking. I would feel a very small, really bad feeling of, gosh, like this is an impossibility. Even though I want this, I feel that this is never going to happen in the back of my mind. And you can fool yourself. Like I fooled myself for the longest time saying, no. My back of my mind is wrong. My subconscious is stupid. I can manifest this. I can manifest this. I can manifest this. But really, there's always that nagging feeling of, do you know what, this is not for you. And your gut instinct will never lie. And that's the underlying feeling I always had was, this connection is not for you. You deserve better. You're going to get better. This person is not worth it. They are not who you think they are. But of course, at the time, I was very stubborn and didn't want to follow my own guidance. And I got really just carried away with really wanting them to be the one. But really, if they're not the one and they're not meant for you, then it's not going to happen. So it never did. And thank God it never did, because I don't know if you're aware of the story of the false twin in my instance, but basically they show their true colors through another relationship they went into very shortly after we'd met. They met someone else and got engaged with them very quickly, and also got married to them really quickly, but also got divorced very quickly. I mean, I feel sorry for the girl. I mean, she was only married for maybe 3 to 6 months and they already divorced. How awful, you know, spending all your money on a beautiful wedding and all your hopes and dreams and shattered in a matter of a couple of months. So I was right. My instinct was right. Never doubt your intuition, your instinct. You know what's going on deep down. So if you're getting guidance to say this is not for you, believe it. Do yourself a favor and cut it short, because I was stubborn. I was like, no. I can manifest this. I can manifest this. If you feel that little voice in your head going, you're making a mockery of true love. This is not your one. This is not the one. You need to let this go. I was just stubborn. I didn't want to believe it. But really listen to that voice within, because it doesn't lie to you. Feel it with your heart, because my heart always felt pain, sadness, closedness, you know. It didn't feel good. I never felt open. I never felt happy. I never felt like a flower in bloom. I felt like a flower that got trampled on and is now just dying in the mud. You know, so that's the difference between your false twin and your true twin. Your true twin, my experience, when I first ever saw them, and they didn't even have to say very much, I don't know how I felt this, but the instant that I was with them, I just felt like, do you know what? This is my husband. I know it sounds crazy, but I never ever said this about anyone I'd been with, even the longest relationships. Every time I would think, oh, this person, you know, do I want to marry them? Could they be my husband? Just that when we cringe and go, oh God, no. But that's a gut feeling to say you're with the wrong person. But with my twin, I felt like, oh my God, this is my husband. And I couldn't explain it. So I was like, how am I already thinking this about this man who I just met? But you look into their eyes, and there's something about the eyes. I mean, I had the eyes kind of connection with my soulmate, where I looked into his eyes and I just felt like, my God, I know you. With my twin, it's a step up again. It's like, oh my God, I've come home. I'm home. I'm one with you. You're my husband, and I'm one with you, and I can just melt into, like, dive in to the eyes, like they're like pools welcoming you, and in to dive within them, and just, it's like a portal to another world. It's just filled with nothing but love. And I don't know, it's probably sounds crazy when you're listening, or it resonates if you've been through it, and you know, it may well resonate with you. So, and my heart felt open even through the times where they weren't so great. Things have happened where, you know, it could have gone better, or maybe, you know, the whole separation phase and how that went about, that it wasn't great. I was sad. I was very sad. But deep down, if I thought back at our time together and thought of what I truly wanted and thought about him, and not the situation, but just him, my heart felt open. Even though, you know, the outside kind of situation makes you feel sad. Okay, if we're in separation, boo-hoo, I'm so sad. Your heart, if it is your true twin, will bloom open. It will feel so full of love, and you will feel that calmness, that it's like you're being hugged by pure love, true love. And you just know in your heart, because your heart doesn't lie to you, and there won't be that little voice going, do you know what, this person's not the one for you. In fact, the little voice will be going, do you know who this person is? And I actually had a dream when we, not long after we were in separation, had a dream about him, and the message in the dream was, he was asking me, do you know who I am? And And that's kind of, also actually a massive difference between my true love and everyone else is that my true love has come to me in dreams. In actual real life, I could feel the energy, their spirit around me to console me, to hug me, to make sure that I was okay, and to kind of make things better when I was feeling sad. I've never had that spiritual, true spiritual connection, like a spiritual connection I could never explain. I only ever had that with family members who had passed. They would show themselves to me and kind of say energetically, look, I'm okay, I've crossed over. Don't be sad that I've passed away. Of course, he hasn't passed away, but it's kind of along those lines of they present themselves in an energy form so that you recognize that they're there, basically. And so I've never had that with anyone, including my soulmate, who I thought I felt so close to. I never had that kind of energy form of their pure essence just being with me, consoling me, making me feel that I shouldn't be sad, and confirming my truth of, you know what, this is only temporary and we will see each other again, I promise you this. And so that's the difference. So I know this video is quite long now, but I hope that this has helped you and that you can now find out for yourself whether the person you are thinking about is your true twin. So I really hope that everyone gets to find true love, because I wish that for everybody. The world would be so amazing. And I feel that this is what we came here for, is to find true love, to write our ultimate love story, and to just be happy and manifesting everything that we could possibly ever desire. If you'd like to connect with me, my details are in the link. Thank you for everyone who has watched this video. I truly hope it has inspired you. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.